I think what I want to do first, and wait, I don't want to play this out. I just want to kind of have a base idea of where people are going, because there's two groups of characters, and I want to do this as cinematically as possible. So, let's start with Crow and the lady first. Just
Okay,
like,
but if we're gonna start with me, I need to issue a public apology.
oh,
Last week, um, there were a lot of surprised reactions to the voice that I chose for Crow, and I am deeply ashamed to admit that there was a real boner in the voice choosing process. As a joke, I applied Frankie to my voice, and I did not switch it back. And so I played the whole session as Frankie. It was my intimidating revenant hunter of men character was walking around with a fully intelligible Frankie blasted over him, and I feel like I really gave it to the listeners' ears and my fellow players' ears, and everyone was too polite to say anything. So I'm doing everything I can this week to rectify that mistake. To rectify that mistake, I just clicked on deafen in the middle of my own
Yeah.
speaking.
So will there be a second apology for that?
Later.
Okay.
But okay. So as I take the lead on this week's session, I just want to grow and heal moving forward, and just let everyone know that things are going to be better. I'm going to do it right this time, and I'm very sorry to any who felt hurt.
somebody make sure he presses the right button. I'm a little bit worried about.
Siren, come with me.
Oh, no.
We must venture out.
Is that the right voice, and should we support him?
I'm just gonna say it this time.
He's short, so
Declan, that's incredible.
Oh, I'm just a little boy and I want to go hunt the man on the island. Will you help me? Just kidding, it's Jessica.
Oh,
Jessica's back.
She's back.
He's back.
Oh,
Crow
God.
I
unzips
wish I
and is
could
like
win her.
3 feet shorter as Jessica, whatever Jessica is, steps out of the costume.
And stilts. Oh. I was worried about the third stunt Declan had.
Jessica.
It was called Inner Beauty, and I was like, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see how we feel about this one.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Well, in terms of how this will roll out, I'm going to start with the other two since they kind of had to sit on their hands a little bit at the ending. But what would Crow and the Pale Lady be getting up to first in the morning? The earliest you can leave is 6 without having to roll some physique challenges.
Hold on a second.
okay.
Don't step in, Mac. Don't even try.
No, it's
So you sounded urgent.
Help.
He was like, "What do you do?" And you're like, "Hold on a sec."
You said, "Hold on a second." I thought you were like getting on a plane or something.
Yeah,
like
I
you
was
had checked your
consulting my
phone in with
newspaper.
security. Yeah. Boys, what do we do?
He is going to be watching the crack in the door for as earliest sunrise appears as possible, and try to move her to mobilize as soon as that happens.
Yeah.
okay. Then you know what? Let's do a quick scene. Let's have it be 6 o'clock. And Crow, as your eyes just keep an even peel on the door in front of you. Eventually, past Otto's now deceased body, you see the first kind of light filter inwards.
The second it cracks, there's the sound of his clothes shifting as he stands up, and he says, "Now."
Oh.
She will kind of emerge from whatever sort of shadows are still lingering in this building. Her eyes kind of reflective until they meet the light, and then she'll just nod.
The stone gives way as your hands push it aside, and you see that you are amongst the first to emerge. Many of the people on this island give it a bit longer than you two are, but given your recent activities last night and Pale Lady, your knowledge that the church is not far behind, you look out into the mass grave in front of you.
I'm trying to remember, did I warn Crow about that last time or no?
You said people were after you.
Okay, great. I just couldn't remember if I actually said that or if I just thought about saying that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
I would like to go through his Otto's corpse and did I already do this? I already looted.
Yeah, and
got
actually,
opium.
thank you for reminding me. On everyone's sheet that had an item, so that's you, Declan, Sean, and Dave, I went through and actually wrote what they do. So you do have the kind of milky opium vial in your pocket right now, Declan.
All right, and that was the maximum of what I found. Nothing like a sigil to get me through gates or anything.
Unfortunately, no,
Right.
nothing like that. It's pretty informal.
Okay. Then he'll just jostle the opium in hand and step out of the mausoleum.
Okay.
Pale Lady will follow. I mean, she doesn't know. He seems to have a good idea of where they need to go, so she's just kind of a much taller, ghostly figure following behind him.
Okay. Perfect. As you guys make your way through, there will eventually start to be the sound of stone moving, gates being opened. And if you would like to proceed stealthily, I would allow you to. The challenge would be a 2, and I would allow a group roll.
All right, I'll take that.
You get a +1 from me.
I don't need it. Oh, I did.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I thought I'd get a 3 and prove that I needed it, but it was even worse.
Okay. So a match, what I would say is it would buy you a bit more time before the church has any idea of where you might have been heading.
I think he doesn't want that heat. Could I go with invoke the Phantom of the Red Tide for general, like, he just mythically in general seems to really avoid detection. He is known as a phantom.
Easily. Yeah, I think that's what that's aspect was named for. So yeah, that makes sense to me. So describe, I mean, as you kind of duck into the shadows of these giant obelisks, kind of casting their their shadows amongst you, you disappear just as legions of people kind of start filling out, and you realize, as large as this island is, this area in particular seems to have collected a not insignificant amount of them. People seem to know that this is one of the few safe areas. And people just kind of start to check themselves over and nod and just begin to kind of talk, as you will, a neighbor. But none of them take notice of you for the time being.
Yeah, when there's a shot of somebody talking to somebody else and then looking around for the rabble rouser who made all that trouble last night, he is standing over their shoulder out of focus, and when they turn and their head passes over him, he's just missing from the shot.
Nice. Yeah, and Pale Lady, it's easy enough for you to follow in his footsteps and realize just how careful Crow is being.
Mm-hmm. Her
Okay.
skin sort of blends in with the surroundings, making her hard to pick out.
Perfect. Okay. Then the two of you are able to successfully abscond from this area, and where will you be heading?
Eibelstadt.
Okay. Perfect. And the two of you, we will have heading in that direction as the sun breaks over the mountaintops. And we'll be back to you shortly. But I want to cut back to the other group that is still left behind in that place. Ross, Devon, and Rakote. Morning comes, and with it comes two voices that slowly begin to talk as you begin to wake. One belongs to a man and the other a woman. The woman is the first to speak. Otto's dead. Well, rats will get all of us eventually. It wasn't rats. It was someone. Who'd be foolish enough? Not sure, but I'm on my way to tell Herman. Grave Warden's up on the hills asking for people for information. Heard she was promising steel for anyone who knows anything. Well, you know anything I can sell? I wouldn't tell you if I did. Fair enough, Carla. Safe travels. As these two part, we will open on Rakote and Rastavan, who have spent a relatively sleepful night inside of their own lodgings.
Let's see.
So the stress we took was from the
Yeah, the rats. Yeah, so basically how that works is I think you both suffered 4. Or do you remember how much you suffered, Sean?
Yeah, it's 4.
Okay, 4. So the way this works is you distribute it amongst your available stress boxes. And then those do not uncheck. So you have 4, you could do like 1 mental, 3 physical, 2 mental, 2 physical, however you want to break that down. Just total of 4 boxes needs to be checked.
And the bread roll doesn't do anything to
So the bread would allow you to reduce that total by 2 before you allocate.
that.
So if you eat it now, you'd only have to deal with 2 stress to allocate.
Yeah, I'll eat it.
Okay. Well, that's, kind of a good question. So, sorry, I'm still remembering character names. Rakote, as you wake up, you can hear the kind of munching of bread and realize that hunger is settled into your stomach. Rastavan, it's a little bit easier for you. It kind of gives you some strength and some rejuvenation in this time.
Yeah, literally the Minecraft eating sound. Rakote will look over and he'll say, "Eating your rations already."
He's peeling pieces off of the bread, and he has to put them through the eye holes of his mask because the mouth literally isn't open. It's been completely, seemingly sealed shut from the beginning of when this thing actually looked normal. And I'll look over. Yeah, I'm sure we'll find some more.
Rakote will sort of look down and he'll open. I'd say his coat pocket, but we're probably not wearing what we're pictured in, given the. I mean, maybe Sean is because his character looks like he's dressed appropriately in rags, but or at least with his hood, probably in just like simple.
You'd be afforded most of your clothes. They would check things over, but honestly, they don't expect any trouble. If it was gunpowder or something illicit, they'd take it from you, obviously.
I have swords woven into my jacket.
Oh, they would confiscate that for sure.
They don't come out, and it's stitched to my body. So I have that.
Fine.
Yeah. No, he would he'd reach into his jacket and he's going to take out his roll of bread and he's going to reach across and hand it to Rakote. And I would like, Rastavan. I don't know why we did this. He's going to hand it to Radigan, who hands it to Ronnie, who hands it to Radon. He's going to hand his bread, assuming there's not some rule against this.
Nope,
and mechanically, I would like to give my recharge food item to Sean.
Yep, perfectly allowed.
Okay. And he's going to say, just in case it's sometime, you need your strength more than I do.
Can I eat that now too, Kane?
Of course. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to start breaking it off and eating that as well.
Yeah.
I love him doing it immediately. You get handed it and you hey, thanks, idiot.
It's just Rakote's. It's just a shot of Rakote's face dropping. The fucking. Arrested Development, Charlie Brown music playing.
I got a big day ahead of me. With what?
Mhm.
I'll tell you when I know. Jesus.
He then starts eating a rat.
Yeah, you hear some sort of well, not munching because he's not eating Cheez-Its, but he'll look over and just say, hmm, thanks. The hungry flame isn't very patient.
Ricote will kind of nod his head then and say, "Then we ought not to keep it waiting. Plan on doing some fishing today."
Fine idea, but I don't know if we're anywhere near water at this point.
He goes, "Well, we'll find out. It seems seems there's little else for us to gain right now but information." And he'll sort of stand and say, "That being where the best place to get fish are, who's in the market to buy it, and what we can get for it."
Well, I assume you heard those two people that were speaking outside the door. Said something about someone with, I don't know, buying steel or something.
The Grave Warden looking for steel in exchange for information. Probably
Yeah.
about all the commotion last night.
May as well go there, see if we can get something.
Sort of nod. That seems like the best place to start.
Right. It's easy enough for you to leave your area. The lock kind of disengages as the two of you let yourselves out, and similar to what Crow and the Pale Lady were saying, this whole area has kind of come to life, and the few, basically in the sunlight, it's kind of bloomed. To the left and right of you, you see plenty of people just kind of conversing, but even more than that, you see people with speared rats kind of comparing them, choosing which will be their breakfast and which will be tossed into the pile. And they don't seem to pay any special attention to you as you leave. If anything, it seems thinner here, and a majority of the people have actually congregated higher up on the hill where you saw that battle being taking place.
All right.
So it's easy enough for you to follow the throngs of people if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, if that seems like the general direction everybody's going into.
Yeah, it seems like from this area you could get pretty much anywhere, but let's just play it out as you guys move up the hill, and as you kind of crest the highest point of it, you see a pale-eyed woman sitting atop a black mare that just stomps the earth repeatedly. She herself is overlooking a group of acolytes, and as you kind of peer over the shoulders of your neighbors, you can see that these acolytes are carefully putting together a collection of bodies. Most of these bodies are stark white, completely white, and all of them are in very poor condition after the night with the rats. But none of this seems to slow the holy men as they tirelessly reconstitute the newly dead. And from kind of her high position on the horse, you hear this woman say, "My name is Petra Kraus, grave warden and servant to the true king of Prospero. By his divine right, I seek retribution for the souls extinguished by the one known as the Pale Lady. Mark these bodies. See their pale eyes and skin, as lifeless as an ashen heath. This is what she promises. Not rest or sleep or salvation, but death. True and ugly death. One of you must have seen this monster. Share what you know, and you will be rewarded in newly christened steel once she has been captured. Refuse, and you condemn yourself to their fate." And with this, she draws a crooked finger towards the collection of bodies. You see some people starting to kind of communicate and talk, and if you guys would like to interject now, great. Otherwise, I'll push this forward.
Yeah. Rostavon will raise a hand up.
You, the one in the iron mask. What do you have to say?
So the reward is steel. In what form?
Whatever form you will take it. Blades, arrows, we can promise it all. I can promise you that few can offer a deal as fine as this, and none steel as sharp.
He will sort of nod once at that, and he'll turn and look at Rakote and just say, well, steel can be useful, but it's not a boat, so...
Rakote will say, we have my ship. Once we figure out a way to stow away off this island, steel would protect us until then.
It is true. Steel could lead to something that leads to a ship. Well, you said something about fishing, right?
Yes. Though...
Why don't we
Oh, God.
do a little bit of that, and then think on this pale lady they speak of?
Rakote will, he'll sort of chew on that, and he'll probably, I feel like I'm doing a lot of nodding, but I feel like he doesn't have like a creative thing to add, so he'll just sort of nod his head to that.
Hellscape is new to him. He's just trying to put one foot in front of the other right
He's
now.
taking it all in.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Before they go, Rosman will raise his hand again to the Grave Warden.
Another question, she'll say, waiting for your response.
Yeah, just how do you feel about lending us some steel first? And, when we get the Pale Lady, we give you the corpse and you give us some more steel.
I know better than to trust a convict with something promised. Your word is nothing. I will measure you by your deed and nothing else. Give us the Pale Lady and you'll have your steel.
Fine. It's worth a shot at least.
Ricote will, he'll sort of raise his own hand at that. And I want to try to use... So mechanically, if I want to try to see if I can't actually have her go through with Rastovan's suggestion, do you think a report to create an advantage? A report? Oh my god! I doubt this will work, but a rapport advantage to inform a provoke, or would it just be a rapport to get on her good side, so to speak, to see if I can't grease the wheels?
I would say the roll would have to be a rapport at the end of the day. Provoke is a bad idea, and I think just being sort of I'm just gonna say not a good plan. I'm just gonna cut that off.
I was thinking of that, but
Ricote steps up with his 0 fight and 0 athletics, and it's like, you better give him a sword, or so help me.
I would say you could use provoke to create advantage for a rapport. I would accept that. It'd be like some snide comment maybe, but otherwise not really.
They're the same stat, so I don't know that I really have an opportunity here to
I'm gonna set the challenge at a 3, just to be upfront. Report challenge 3. So
report challenge a 3. All right. So Ricote he'll sort of raise a hand, and he'll say, "With respect, Grave Warden, you have not seen what this man is capable of. This is your greatest chance to catch the Pale Lady. You would do well to arm him to see rewards for the fruits of your efforts."
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me it. Okay. So I said it was a 3. That'll give you basically a boost, so a single use of something. What is something realistically that Rosvan could use that's like a single use kind of item that would benefit you?
A shitty spear.
Single use. How
Yeah.
about a worn out ballista bolt?
Cool.
That's like obviously the haft is not meant to take even a single blow, but it's got some steel at the end of it, I guess.
Okay. If your man is as capable as you say he is, then this should suffice, and nothing more. And she will present. She will kind of motion for one of the acolytes to approach and present you with the steel bolt, which does gleam with promise. It's so much newer and stronger than most of the steel you've seen in this place.
Rastavan will take it greedily in his hand and lift it up to the light and take measure of the thing. So this is an item, correct? What does it do?
Yep. I mean, I would. It's basically an advantage because that's what he was trying to create for you. So
Okay.
probably like a fight or I'm guessing fight because you've asked for a bolt. If you'd like to retcon it, like what type of thing were you trying to do? It has to do with hunting.
Oh,
I'd
just
say
yeah,
specifically.
probably a fight thing, I guess.
Okay.
Fight or a shoot if I found something to shoot it out of, but I don't really have that. So
Yeah, and let's say that if you do end up using shoot, there's plenty of like kind of scattered bows and things like that you could use or crossbows. But all of that would break as soon as you fired it.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Perfect. Kind of satisfied with having given you that bolt. She will turn her attention back to the group, kind of congregation in front of her, and seems to be taking on a line of people with pieces of information they hope will get them their favor. And did you guys end up leaving after that, or did you hang around?
Yeah, with that, Rastavan will look around. I guess there's nothing obvious in terms of a way to go to find fish, except for maybe noticing.
Um, Honestly, you don't even have to do that unless you're trying to create advantage. Um, oh wait, you guys haven't been here before.
Yeah.
It's not interesting for you to fail, honestly. If you could ask around, even just partially Rakote, you would hear that there is water to the north of you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would do that.
Okay. Cool. So you guys will, with your, go ahead.
Unless, is there a way? Could I roll contacts to create a fishing advantage?
Of course, of
Okay,
course.
why don't I do that? I'm gonna work this crowd and see if probably not her acolytes because yes, now is the time. And I walk in again and intrude. What about a place to fish?
So like a Joe's Crab Shack anywhere near here.
So I'll ask somebody that's not being lectured on the True King and the vile evilness of the Pale Lady.
Yeah.
What challenge am I looking at here?
Pretty easy. I'd say set it at a 1.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Oh
Nice.
wait, I forgot.
Mhm.
Rakote, you're gonna need to take the bolt because my hands are currently occupied.
Sure, I can hold it for you.
True. Okay. So you will create one use of local fishing spot.
All right.
As a woman just kind of nods and says, a few people have had some luck north of here. Now, keep in mind they don't have a fishing line, so you're going to have to get a bit creative.
Rakote he'll say that won't be a problem. Thank you.
No, I think it wouldn't. And you'll see a little bit of distrust in her eyes as she beholds your kind of aquatic form and just kind of
Jesus.
walks away. Vaguely says some racist shit. No, it's not race. She will just kind of take her leave of you.
I just hear her go, plague bitten rat, as I walk away.
Meanwhile, she looks like a total mess.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have kind of your directions and start leaving, and the last thing you'll kind of hear as you guys start heading north is a man stepping forward in the crowd saying, "It wasn't the pale lady that killed them. It was a man, a sailor with a cruel hook." Oh, what else can you tell me about this man? And then Declan, I just want for you a retroactive stealth. It's a 1 is the challenge. Yeah, okay. Perfect. He will frown a bit and say, "Nothing else, Grave Warden. It was dark and the rats had already found us. My attention was elsewhere. It's the beginning of a story. It won't earn you anything. Not even my thanks. There must be more of you that know something about this man." And they'll just kind of start talking as the rest of you leave. Okay, so they will start heading north, and then I'm going to cut back to the other group, and we'll just kind of keep jumping back and forth here and see where things lead us. So, Crow and the Pale Lady, you take up way ahead of the church and their interrogation, and it takes you a good 6 hours to make it to Evilstadt. So, that would put you at noon, the sun directly overhead, when you finally walk into town. And when you do, it's a fairly unremarkable place, but only for the fact that it has survived the last 200 years, and you can tell that that is mainly due to the efforts of the people that are here, are living here. They seem a bit more hardy and a bit more secure than the people out in the wilds, but they also seem to have a bit more uniformity to their action and their words. You keep hearing the name Arnaud kind of pronounced through their various speeches. And it's safe for you to assume that this place is kind of one of the few bastions that Arnaud has organized. As you look and see a group of people that has kind of made the best of the situation, or at least as far as you can see.
I am going to immediately disregard any flavor facts and just begin investigation to track down.
Herman?
I know. Damn it, Herman.
I'm sorry. Should have given you like
Damn it!
literally a second.
It was this close.
So, quick
yeah.
question: how does my lord, how does food work? Like,
I
Chew
don't
it.
want. I really do not want to have you guys be rolling like investigate every night and doing that shit. Like I assume that if you're not eating rats, there's not really much for you to eat.
well, I wanted to find a rat to eat.
Uh, Easy enough. It is the Isle of Rats. They're the older, slower ones that just kind of like walk across the ground, trying to find holes to kind of scurry into.
Great. I want to notice for one of those.
I'm not even gonna. Is it to create an advantage, or is it just
Uh,
to
yeah,
eat?
yeah. I
Okay.
want to create an advantage that I
Okay.
have a fat rat.
Fat rat. I'm gonna set the challenge at a 1.
Oh,
I have the
Jesus.
fattest rat of them all.
her
Honestly,
eyes
yes.
dilate.
I'm gonna call it like 2 for 1. You find 2 rats, and that's the 2
Yay.
individual resource rolls as your hands can kind of like dart even into a hole that maybe one of the fatter ones scurried into and come away with a rat by its tail.
You found the rat that makes all the rules.
I never thought you'd get this far. I never planned for this.
All right. The pale lady, as she's following Crow, will be kind of scanning the ground with her eyes, and she'll catch 2 rats by their tails and perhaps tie them together for the time being.
Yeah, awesome. You got a
Uh,
bolo.
yeah, she'll kind of fairly get down, and she'll snatch them before they go back into their hole, and she'll do the deed to make sure that they're not moving anymore, and she'll just kind of hold on to them for now.
Yep.
She'll put them around a fishing net that's attached to her waist and kind of jingles with various sea goods that she's collected over the years.
Oh, that's a nice detail. Okay, so the pale lady has like kind of easy pouches for storage as she
Hmm.
swims and everything else. Okay, I like that. That
She's kind
explains
of
the
covered.
tailoring skill.
Yeah, she's covered in that's just the shit that washes up on the shore that she finds in the ocean. Glass shards that have been like smoothed and stuff. She's just kind of crafted into little doodads and pouches and whatnot. So
Cool.
she's just got the rats hanging on her hip.
Okay. Um, Declan, you know the name of the person you're looking for, and because of that, honestly, the challenge is a 0. This person is actually pretty prominent in this area, so investigate challenge of 0. Yep.
All right.
Okay. You know exactly where to go. And kind of, I don't know, do you ask or how do you go about that, or you just overhear a conversation?
Yeah, it depends on what is necessary. I think there'll probably be a low base level required for just asking the person's name and getting pointed in that direction by anyone.
Yeah. One of the men will kind of like, if you say the name Herman, will regard you for a second and kind of look you over and say, well, you're traveling pretty light. Must have something good.
I stare at them.
And it's your right to keep it that way. And he will walk away.
my my eyes stay locked on him as he walks away until he just moves out of distance, in which case I rotate forward again like an Elden Ring NPC.
Yeah, definitely. But he does point you kind of towards the center area of this town, where you can see a group of people kind of lined up. Let's say roughly 20 in front of this large building, the central building.
On a success with style, I'd like to co-opt that into the boost being like, am I pointed to his home?
His direct office. That's basically what this is an office complex.
Okay, what do I want? Because I know I get a boost.
Yeah, let's figure it out. Um, you know, there are plenty of people, and usually you have to kind of know someone to just get through. Like, there's usually kind of a social component to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's either, working with them or provoking the shit out of them and then kind of muscling your way through whatever the case is. But you know that that challenge is ahead of you looking at this gate. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Just that they, I guess I intimidate them enough where they give me the inside scoop on what kind of business will get me to his desk without too much rigmarole.
Yeah, you know what? That's pretty good. Before he gets mag dogged out of the way, he would just say, "You didn't find that gold shirt, did you?"
Yeah, and then Crow will make one of his blatant attempts at lying, which he really doesn't care if succeeds or not, and just says, "Sure."
And kind of to retroactively do that, he'll say, "Well, that's great. You're gonna need a few hands to bring him in, right? I know some trustworthy types. You and I should work together."
He'll just stare and like accepting a request to hang out from someone you don't want to. Crow, after a long silence, will just say, "I."
And he'll just kind of nod a bit and say, "Clinton." And he'll point at himself. And then I'll look behind you at the pale lady.
She's eating a rat.
Crow steps in the way of this.
Yeah, and he will just kind of nod slowly as he does and wait for you to lead.
He'll walk into town.
All right, perfect. When you do finally make it kind of within earshot of all this, you'll hear a voice issuing from the front of the crowd saying, "Steel. Steel only. Copper, wood, and glass won't buy you even a drop of milk. You've been warned. Don't try our patience." You'll see a few people in the line just kind of like with heavy shoulders start marching off, and the rest that haven't kind of holding this really old or kind of degraded steel in their hands. And at the very front is two kind of foot soldiers stationed and keeping watch over the growing pile.
Unless this is in the way, I just want to make my auto path is for Herman's office.
Yeah, they're kind of in the front doorway. You'd assume that that's the way forward.
Am I in front of a like gate to something? I'm not sure where I am.
Oh yeah, no, it's like imagine a town square and there's like kind of this central office building
Yeah.
in front of you, a two-story deal, and people are kind of in a line in front of that office complex. And at
Okay.
the front of like the entrance is right in front of you.
Crow is going to just walk around the line with no clue that this has any importance for him, and is just trying to go and open the door himself.
Yeah, the guard will just try to intercede and say, "Whatever you got, it can wait. Back there," and he'll motion with his head.
He's gonna look to the line and not like how long it is.
The pale lady will speak up, kind of dabbing her mouth after her meal, and she'll say, "We are not interested in milk. We have different business."
With who?
What was his name?
Herman.
Herman.
He will kind of scoff a bit and say, "That's funny. Herman's business is my business, and I don't recall hearing anything about you lot." And he'll just kind of say that disdainfully, looking at what appears to be a rogue of some kind, a disheveled sailor, and a fish creature.
Nothing to hear. Business is now.
I'm the one who decides that, he'll say, getting a bit more agitated. And I think just like, what would you do skill-wise to try and overcome this challenge of a man stepping in front of you?
Probably gonna meet him with a provoke.
Sure, and you have that advantage if you want to use it.
Yes, I will. I guess Clinton's presence is enough, so yeah, I'm going to provoke and invoke that boost.
Yeah, insider information.
Yeah.
Yeah, success.
Okay. He is going to take a step forward and like lean into the man's space. Almost like just press him into the doorway, but keep lock eye contact and say, not trading. Asking question. Going to prove a problem.
My friend's talking about the gold shirt. He knows where the gold shirt is. And with that, and kind of honestly, more so you leaning in, but only kind of realizing that he can save some face, the man will just say, "A gold shirt is more than enough. You should lead with that, friend." And he will, despite his regained calm, very shakily open the door for you.
I would not assume you are his friend.
"Neither would I," says Clinton, just kind of looking at Crow, and then taking a step in front of you guys and walking in.
Yeah, I step right on past him immediately, disregarding him.
Yeah, you'll hear the kind of clinking of steel as more and more is layered in front of the other guard that has just been completely removed from this exchange. And the door closes behind you into a relatively comfortable looking abode. What once was an office complex has kind of been rebuilt with kind of bunk beds and what passes as mattresses. And you see that a lot of attention has been paid to make sure this place is as rat-free as it can be. And people just kind of mill about, but you see that most of the traffic leads further upstairs.
I open my suitcase and upend a whole thing of rats into the building to completely negate their efforts.
Yeah, the rats descend upon the newborns. That's where they keep them. You did this. You did this.
Not the newborn.
Let's go, boys.
The babies have 0 fight, so it's
Oh,
I don't know.
wow.
It's gonna be
God.
rough.
What have
It's
you
gonna be
done?
bad.
None of them
Not the
have any
younglings.
fight?
One's got some fight because he has teeth. That's a stunt.
All right,
He's
good.
got-
All right, there's some hope.
There is mathematically 20% hope,
Yeah, he'll be all right.
80% defeat.
And 100%
But yeah.
reason to remember the name.
Nice. But yeah, the path forward seems upwards.
All right, I'll trump up the. I'm going to just point to Clinton.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Say,
add a character.
stay.
He'll just kind of shrug his shoulders and say, "Well, I mean, I know Herman. I could put in a good word for you."
He'll shake his head.
He will just say, "Fine enough. You're the boss." He will step aside.
I'll go up there.
Perfect. Okay. Pale lady, Clinton steps aside, and you see Crow ascending the stairs. What do you do?
Follow him.
Okay. In that case, before we cut back to the other group, I'm kind of setting the scene that you're walking into. You see that the roof of this office complex has kind of been knocked out, but intentionally. You see that the edges have been kind of reinforced, and just rays of sunlight are pouring into a room that is just filled with white flowers. Further down, you see also some lattice work that seems to have a various amount of spices and things like that. Kind of the comforts of the modern world stationed all around this place. And in the center of this room, let me reveal him. You see a very old, very frail looking old man with thinning white hair that sticks to a very greasy scalp, and a bit of a shine on his hands, and you realize looking down that both of his hands are gone completely. They've been replaced with old world prosthetics that lack the articulating joints of the modern variants. He's currently busying himself with the flowers. And we'll just kind of leave that in a quiet moment as Crow, you see Herman, the man that you've come here to see. Is there anything kind of like last little screen shot that you'd want to leave on?
Yeah, probably this delicate old man with out-of-date prosthetics tending to his garden, and then the door slowly creaking open to reveal Crow in the negative space between his head and the white roses.
Ugh, okay. Perfect.
He's not a heroic character who has come to visit him.
No, not even remotely. Okay. In that case,